All right, so we have chapter 12, motivating job performance. The chapter talks about the motivational lessons we have Maslow, Herzberg, expectancy theory. We will talk about goal setting theory, how it motivates performance. We're talking about how managers can improve motivation of personnel who perform routine tasks. What do you guys think? People who do the same exact job every day, how do they keep their motivation? So we'll talk about what they do. And then we'll explain how job enrichment can be used to enhance motivational potential job. So we'll talk about how can you make the job rich. Next, we will distinguish between extrinsic and intrinsic. We already discussed that. We'll talk how employees' engagement, retention programs, open book management, self-motivation, all of these help motivation by participation. And then we'll explain how companies are striving to motivate today's diverse workforce, the idea of quality of life, of work-life programs. So we'll start with motivation. What is motivation? It's the psychological process that gives behavior a purpose and direction. How many people are very self-motivated? Okay. Do you guys know people who are demotivated? Maybe? Okay. If you're a manager, do you want all of your employees to be self-motivated, or do you want to keep motivating them? Do you guys think that motivation is very important for managers to make sure it exists among their people? If employees are motivated, what can they do? They can do a lot, right? They can stay up until midnight to do the job and do it perfect. For me, I always face the same problem. How can I motivate students to study hard? So how do you motivate people? Any ideas? How do you motivate people?
There are many ways to motivate people. Some people like to...
Now, here we're talking about those few theories. We have Maslow. Now, this Maslow idea says... Maslow says people have needs. You just need to fulfill those needs. He said three people have their first need, which is their physiological needs. People need food, water, sleep, shelter. Number two, after they fulfill it, they move to the next stage. The next stage says safety needs. And that includes people need to stay safe from any enemies, from any threats, safety from firing, safety from sickness. And after they're safe, they move to the third level, which is love. People want to be loved. People want to be accepted, affection. People want to belong. People want to be invited to the parties. People want, if someone sees them, smile, okay, which shows that they're one of us. After they're accepted and they're invited to the parties, next they want to get their self-esteem. So people need to have good self-perception. They want to feel they're worthwhile. They want to be recognized. They want to have this status. They give you this badge that says, this is who I am. That's once they fulfill that, then people will be motivated by self-achievement. And that's when they want to prove who they are. They want to belong. They want to become all that one can become. Are you guys okay with this? How many people agree with Maslow? How many people say, no, this is not true, Maslow, I disagree? Anyone? Okay. So those are the higher needs, they emerge as lower needs are fulfilled. So once you're full, you need to stay safe and then accepted, respected, and then you become all you can. What is self-actualizing manager? The self-actualizing manager, those people who are managers who are self-actualizing themselves, how do they look like? They're always warm, they have closeness, they have sympathy, they recognize, they share negative information and feelings, they exhibit trust, openness, candor, does not achieve goals by power or deception or manipulation. They do not project their own feeling, motivation, or blame onto others. Does not limit horizons, uses developed body, mind, and senses. Rationalistics, think of unconventional ways. Conforming, regulates behavior from within. How many people see their bosses like this? No one? Some of you? Okay. How many people see themselves like this? Do you guys look at this Maslow? How many people are in the physiological need in their workplace? They're working and they're motivated by the food and drink. How many people are in the self-actualization needs? They want to be all they can be. How many people are in the self-esteem needs? Anyone is in the love need? Anyone in the security need? Okay. Let's see. How many people studied hard for this presentation? How many people will study hard for the final exam? That's good. If I want to motivate you to study harder for the final exam, how many people will work harder if I'm going to give you a sandwich? Those are on the first level. How many people will be motivated? That's just an example. We've got this Herzberg two-factor theory. Herzberg two-factor theory is a theory of motivation based on job satisfaction. We talked before about this. He said we have satisfiers and dissatisfiers. He says those satisfiers here, these are the satisfiers. He says achievement, recognition, work itself, responsibility, advancement and growth, these will make you happy. If they're not there, they will make you okay. These, on the other hand, if they are there, like company policy, supervisor, relationship with your supervisor, work conditions, salary, the relationship with your peers, the personal life at work, the relationship with your subordinates and the status, these are more dissatisfiers. If they are there, you will be okay. If they are not there, you will be very mad at work. How many people agree with Herzberg? Okay. How many people completely disagree with Herzberg? Did you guys understand Herzberg? Let's take one of these. Choose one of these 6. Which one? Recognition? All right. Let me see if I can zoom. No, I can't zoom. Here, achievement, recognition, work itself, responsibility, advancements, and growth.
This is for what?
These are the satisfiers.
Okay.
Choose one of them. Achievement. Do you know what's achievement? You make an achievement in your work. Recognition. They recognize you. They give you a certificate. Work itself. How is the work? What do you actually do? Okay. Responsibilities. What are you responsible of? Advancement. Do you advance? Do you have advancement? You become, and then you become. And the idea of growth. You can grow. In any manner, in your topic, in your area, in your profession. Which one of these? You choose one. Choose one. Achievement. Okay. Now he says achievement. If you give people achievement or they have a sense that I can achieve, this will make my job better and I will be happy for the employees. So if you give your employees a chance to make achievements, they will be very motivated. If you don't give them a chance for achievement, they will be okay. Is that true? Do you agree with this? Makes sense.
It makes sense, yes.
Okay.
I think if you give me a chance, it's much better.
Huh?
If you give them a chance, it's much better.
Growth?
Motivation.
Growth is more motivation? Okay. Well, he says any one of these factors, they were found among all satisfied employees. Okay. Now, he also says we have those dissatisfiers. He said the company policy and administration. Now, some companies have good policy and good administration. Some companies have bad policy and bad administration. He said, if the company has a very good policy, people will be okay. But if they have bad, people will be mad. Do you see? But if they have very great policy, people will be okay. They will not be motivated to work harder because we have a great policy. Do you see? But he's saying here supervisor. If you have an excellent supervisor, it's okay. Do you like your job? It's okay. If you have a very bad supervisor, do you like your job? I hate it. You see? So it's more of a dissatisfier. If you have a good supervisor, you're okay. But a bad supervisor, you're mad. What's so funny?
Yeah, but I mean, doctor, bad in what? Bad in attitude.
You have anything,
Experience.
all of them. Anything that is negative. Let's say relationship with your supervisor. If you have very good relationship with your supervisor, excellent relationship. It's okay.
Yeah, but
It will not make you work harder. You see? But if your relationship with your supervisor is anything that is negative, you hate your job. You may quit tomorrow. If there's a very small, did not smile to me correctly, people, it's more of a dissatisfier. It's a source of dissatisfaction more than it's a source of satisfaction. What do you think?
If your supervisor is motivating you and
Yeah, they motivate you. Yeah.
how come it's not satisfying you?
Well, according to Herzberg, it's a dissatisfier. Your relationship with your supervisor. And of course, he's talking about supervisor at work. You see, you're talking about a work supervisor, so. The work conditions. If the work conditions is like amazing, this is okay. But if the work conditions are bad, you hate your job. Same thing with the salary. If you have a very amazing, they pay you a lot, it's okay. I work hard. You justify it. You're okay.
Yeah.
They pay you more money, I deserve it. I will not work hard, I just deserve the more. But if they start to cut your salary, that's when you start to become very mad. Do you see?
He's talking about himself.
Do what?
He's talking about himself.
He's not talking about you, Amr.
Not me. I mean, this is not real. If you are a relationship with the supervisor, if a company is paying you good, if you have a policy, if you have a good environment and organization, why would they be motivated to work harder?
Well, according to him, you will be okay. You will not be very motivated. People will work very harder if if we've got more of these. That's what he wants to say. Well, this is Herzberg. Some people agree. Some people disagree. Okay. Implication of Herzberg theory: satisfaction is not the opposite of dissatisfaction. Maybe did you get this idea? Satisfaction is not the opposite of dissatisfaction. Some people are satisfied. Some people are unsatisfied. They're okay. Do you see? And some people are okay, some people are dissatisfied. There is a need to think carefully about what motivates employees. Meaningful, interesting, challenging, enriched work is needed to satisfy and motivate people. And problems with the theory, it assumes that the job performance improving with satisfaction is weakly at best supported. So this assumption that job performance improving the satisfaction is not really well supported in the literature. So that's a weak point. And one person's dissatisfiers can be another person's satisfiers. So there's also this personal differences between people. Okay. The third theory is the expectancy theory. This is Vroom theory, and the model assumes that motivational strength determined by the perceived probabilities of success. Now, the Vroom idea says, every time you think about you will study hard, let's say you have an exam, you will study. Or you have a job, you need to finish it. You have a report, you need to close it. People automatically in their mind do probability calculation. And they start to do multiplication of those three. They take the perceived effort to performance. So they will ask the question to themselves, what are my chances of getting the job done if I put forth the necessary effort? They calculate the percentage, 60%, multiplied by what reward do I value? So whatever grade or whatever reward I will get, how much I value it. This is valuable 100%, valuable 50%. And then the perceived performance to reward probability. What are my chances of getting the reward I value if I satisfactorily complete the job? They get, the chances, let's say 60% is my chance, is to get the reward if I actually do it. Then, after they multiply these, they get a number that's going to determine how much motivated or how much not motivated. So if you multiply them and you get 100%, it means you're definitely going to do it. If you multiply it and you get 0%, then you're not going to do it. If any one of them is 0, you don't do it. Do you see? So this is the Vroom calculation-based scientific. So for you as a manager, what does this mean to you? It means that employee expectations is influenced by the managerial actions and organizational experience. What happens if one of your managers tell one of your colleagues they will do something if they do that, and they don't actually give them the reward they promised? They break a promise. Then everyone else in the department is demotivated because they immediately multiply by 0 chance. They lied once. And that becomes a very big morale problem. So training increases employee confidence in their effort to perform. If I give you a job and you know you can't do it, then you don't study because you don't believe that you can do it. So you multiply by 0, you get a 0. Then you don't work hard. That's why you need to give training, so you make sure people know what they want to do or what they have to do. Therefore, their chances increase. Listening provides managers with insights into employees' perceived performance reward probabilities. It's always good for a manager to listen to the employee. This way they understand if the employee trusts he or she can actually do the job and the reward they expect is what they're going to give them. This way to make sure this probability is not 0 once. That's the Vroom. Now next is the goal setting theory. Goal setting theory says a goal creates a constructive discontent. Properly conceived goals will trigger motivational process that improve performance. If you have a goal, then you know where you want to go. This by itself is a motivation. Are you guys okay with this? So the goal setting theory says if you have a goal that is smart, like what we have seen in the presentation, then it motivates people and then it improves performance. And the more feedback, the more their goals will be more specific and difficult enough and participate in these sets. Okay. Now that was the motivation theories. Now, how motivation by job design? Motivation by job design says you have one of 2 ways. You can fit people to jobs and you can fit jobs to people. So here, fitting people to jobs. Fitting people to job, it says if you want to get people motivated, you have to make sure that the job you have is fit for the people coming. And how do you do that? You need to get a realistic job preview. If you put a job and you put a very good description for the job and honest, then people will be reading this job description. If they know they can fit the job, then they will apply. And if they get the job, they understand what they should do from the beginning. And then if they like it was good, then they will continue. If we don't describe the job well, people will get the job and they didn't know what it entails. And then after that, they become surprised. And this leads to demotivation.
It's like a clear TOR.
Yeah, a clear TOR will be turned successful. Number 2, it says job rotation. Sometimes you can rotate people. You guys know what's job rotation? Yes. That's when you rotate. Now, that's another motivation. You try here. By the time you get bored, you move to the other job. Limited exposure, using an incentive such as contingent time off to motivate performance. Do you guys know what's contingent time off? Give people breaks, that can help them motivate. Strategy 2, fitting jobs to people. That's when you have people who are they have special need in terms of their job. So what you need to do is you need to make the job to fit the person. Let's say you have a person, this is their capabilities. Then you give them a job to their capabilities. They have this ability. You give them a job that is this ability. So you make the job to fit them. So how do you do that? You do job enlargement and enrichment. Do you know what's enlargement? Yes. Enlargement, you make it bigger. Enrichment, you redesign the job to make it have more motivational potential. Let's say, for example, you have a secretary. She can speak 10 languages. Then maybe you can have her to translate in 10 languages and make her job to do, in addition, translation. Maybe the secretary has the ability to need more enrichment. So maybe you can enrich this job by they have to sign on a special document. So now they have more responsibility, so they have more potential. And then we've got these 5 core dimensions of work. These are the 5 dimensions of work. Skill variety. So you give them, it will require several skills. More skills makes more richer job. Task identity. If this task is identified, then or complete, then it becomes more motivational. For example, you do the job from A to Z. If you do the job that is more important, you sign a check. That makes it more motivationally rich. Autonomy, if you tell them do it and you let them manage themselves, that becomes more rich job because they start to feel the responsibility of the outcomes. And then they start to get growth satisfaction. And also you give them job feedback. So you give them, you're doing a good job, you're doing excellent job, this area can improve, this area. This also keeps them motivational. Now, we talked about motivation theories. We talked about motivation by design. Now we're talking about motivation by rewards. Do you guys think rewards is a good motivation?
Yes.
Okay. It says here, reward, whether it is material or psychological reward. You just say people, you give them a tap on the back. It can be very motivational. Extrinsic is payoff granted to individuals by other people, like money, benefits, promotion, recognition, status symbol, and praises. These are all extrinsic. Intrinsic is from self-generated, internally experienced payoff, sense of accomplishments. How many people they have the sense of accomplishment after they finish today's presentation? Raise your hand. All right. How many people are eager to get the grade for this presentation? All right. So that's extrinsic and that's intrinsic. Employee compensation, money, extrinsic. There is no single best compensation plan. There are some flexible and varied compensation. Improving performance with extrinsic rewards. Let's see. Here it gives you, this is example of different types of compensation. You pay per hour, you pay per year, per piece, per commission. You give them a merit pay, profit sharing. If the company make profits, you make. Gain sharing, whatever gain we get, we split. Pay for knowledge, we pay you for the knowledge you have. Stock options, we give you some stake in the company. Cafeteria compensation, that's when we give you, multiple. We pay you per month, and plus we pay you commission. Are you guys okay with this? We also have the idea of equity. People always. It says here, I am underpaid. This is unfair. I'm going to take it easy from now on. People who are paid less, they start talking to themselves. If I'm getting paid less than what I deserve, then why should I work hard? I just take it easy. And the opposite, if people start to feel overpaid, I feel I am guilty about getting more than I deserve. Do you see? So this guiltiness, it becomes also another issue with motivation. So you always want to get the reward received equals the effort expected. The same idea with social equity, like when you compare yourself with other employees. And this talks about, do you say your salary or you don't say your salary? It says here, Joe and I have the same job, but he is paid more than I. That's unfair. I'm going to take it easy. Is Joe special? What happens if you are paid more than everyone else? You start to talk to yourself, you say, Joe and I have the same job, but he's paid less than I. That's unfair. He's going to wonder why I receive special treatment. You see? But if you've got this equal, if Joe and I have the same job and we're paid the same, that's fair. Do you see? Now, this is the third type of motivation. By design we talked, by reward we talked, and the theories, and now we're talking about participation. Do you think if employees participate in the decision making of the company, do they feel more motivated? Do you think Nafi' as the president of the class and participating in the decision making for the class, does this motivate him to study harder for this class? And so empowering employees to assume greater control of the work setting the goals, and they make decisions, and they solve problems, and they design, implement changes. These can also increase the motivation. Some managers, they go with open book. So all of the grades are open for all the people. All of the key figures are open, the accounting books. So employees feel that they know everything about the company. They feel part of the company. And also sometimes they have self-motivating teams where they can, it's a team and they have all the ability to do whatever they want. And this is the idea. You share key information with employees. You teach them, you empower them, and you pay them. This is the open book management approach. And to be successful, you just need to make sure you build this employee support to participate. Now, we talked about those theories: design, reward, participation. Here we have the quality of work life. What do you guys think of this job? This company has this policy. People can come at 7 a.m. or at 9 a.m. If you come at 7, you can leave at 3, and if you at 3:30. And if you come at 9, you leave at 5:30. This way we have flexible 2-hour arrival and a flexible 2-hour departure. And we've got this, all of our meetings where everyone has to be there, they're between 9 and 3:30. This was all the time, all the employees are there. How many people have the same work in their workplace? Okay. How many people think this is going to be amazing for me? Okay. So that's another way. The quality of life. People enjoy. They can come anytime, flexible. Then, family support services. Some companies, they take care of your kids. You guys remember Google? They have laundry in the workplace. Top 5 family-friendly benefits. Dependent care, flexible. Flexi time that we just talked about. Generous family leave. They can give you if you want to stay with your family. Sometimes they give you the ability to telecommute if you have to. Maybe time part basis, compressed work weeks. Some companies, they have this wellness program, make sure that you can exercise in the workplace, or they give you some stress release activities. Some companies, they provide you the sabbatical. If you go to Intel, if you work 7 years in Intel, they give you one free month in Honolulu, and they pay for everything. So this is to make sure people stay there for 7 years, because in Intel, IT people, they have very high turnover. And that's the end of this chapter. Any questions on these topics?
Thank you so much.
All right, great. So